Welcome back, everybody, to SeanTMac NFL Pick6. We're on SeanTMac. Give you 6 games that I believe will win against the spread. I don't work for a casino, sports app, and I don't condone gambling. Like my father used to say, never bet with the rent money. Make sure the cat's fed. Forget about it. Let's get started. As you know, new restrictions with YouTube and whatnot. We'll have a certain amount of time, so I will be flying through this quickly. When they give me more time, I'll be able to break it down to you much better. If you're just joining us, we got 39-33. Not a great weekend. 2-4 for me, depending on when you committed your picks to whatever you were doing. Okay, some of you waited until Saturday or Sunday to make those picks. You were probably 5-1. Congratulations. First game up, Green Bay at the Lions. Great rivalry, especially on Thanksgiving. Green Bay 7-3-1, Lions 7-4. The Lions will be the favorite here. 2.5 points, deservingly so, because they're at home. And in all honesty, they're the better team. But let's start with Green Bay real quick. Jordan Love is looking a lot better than what he did over the weeks. I think he gave up the idea that he was a gunslinger. He's not. And you don't even want that. But if you're running a team like the Green Bay Packers, you got to be one of those guys, that, act like Manning or whatnot, and then, stay in the pocket, focus, stop being a scrambler and throw like for highlights, and just focus on the game. With that said, he's looking a lot better. He's got a nice touch. His timing is back on, but they're still not putting up a lot of points. As for the defense, we all know about Mitch Parsons. He's a beast. But that defense can be ran on. The bottom line is Mitch Parsons is going to be doing his thing, and that's pass rushing the quarterback, and he's good at it. I think as for the Lions, going at them, if I was Green Bay, I'd start focusing on the middle of that line because that seems to be a weakness for the Lions. And I'll get to that with the Lions. All right, so here we go. We go to Detroit now. So Detroit, who escaped death last week against the Giants, who must have forgot there was even a game. But really, that's how pathetic it was. The offense was inept in the beginning. What defense? It looked like the Giants were just running around out there with no problem, like nobody else was on the field. It was to the point where the running back for the Giants threw a touchdown. It was pathetic. It wasn't until the third or fourth quarter they realized we got to stop getting caught up in these trap games with these teams at 2-9, 3-8, 5-50. All right, these players are getting paid. There are guys fighting for jobs. You got to take every team seriously. You cannot overlook anybody. And I guess it might work in Detroit's favor because now they'll focus for the next 6 games. All right, Detroit favored by 2.5. Listen, the offense, you're not going to slow them down. Gibbs, Montgomery in the backfield, forget about it. Especially Gibbs. Oh my God, he's just phenomenal. They're going to have a field day against Green Bay Packers. If you watch the film, tape, whatnot, you'll see what weaknesses. I kind of tend to believe it's on the left side. Actually, wherever Mitch Parsons isn't. You know what I mean? But I know, so you got, St. Brown, the receiver, not to mention the other guys. And on the defense, listen, we know that Coach Campbell's going to get them right. I'm pretty sure as a defensive-minded coach, he's going to get them straight. And we know Adrian Hutchinson will be on his best behavior this week. He showed up late in the game, too, but he's going to have Jordan Love running around for his life. All right? But so with that said, Lions 2.5 point favorites. Green Bay is just, whatever they're experimenting, whatever they're doing with Love, to me, it's taking too long because either Chicago or the Lions are going to start running away with this. Lions by 2.5. Let's move on. KC at Dallas. KC is 6-5, 3.5 points over Dallas. Okay, at home. Kansas City came back and beat the Colts. Cowboys, phenomenal comeback. They beat the Eagles. And we'll get to that later with the Eagles. But listen, Mahomes, all due respect, I know he's trying to rally the troops. His offensive line is suspect to begin with, and now they lost Trey Smith? Forget it. who's going to be blocking for Mahomes and how much magic can he perform. So you're going to keep one of the running backs back there, and you need to bring that defense in. So you really can't do that. And how many times are you going to dump off to Kelsey before he gets injured, like he was almost last week? And the defense is average. Nothing to write home about. Kansas City, to me, Mahomes can do whatever he does. Then, even if they made the playoffs, they ain't going far. Cowboys, on the other hand, now I've been right for the last few weeks. God bless, but I still feel in my heart that Dak Prescott is going to be the MVP. I've been saying that for weeks. You know that. With CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, the acquisition of Pickens, getting him is probably one of the best pickups the Cowboys ever made in their life. Not to mention Quentin Williams, too, on defense. I mean, both of these pieces are working out, so maybe Jerry Jones is not crazy. I don't know. That remains to be seen. Anyway, offense in Dallas is going to outmatch Green Bay when it comes to touchdowns and numbers. I don't see any difference. And I'm a little more confident these days with Dallas's defense, thanks to Quentin Williams. Now they have a front four. The confidence is a miracle. Everybody's putting pressure on, which allows the linebackers to step back, do their job, and gives the defensive back breathing room so they can do their job. And what happens? It spreads like a disease. Everybody starts getting that winning attitude, comes together. Cowboys got to keep moving now because they really can't afford to lose this game. They really can't. They're not going to catch the Eagles, but they want to get in the playoffs. They got to win this game. Kansas City, fair chance. If they lose, they still play in the conference games and all that. So they'll be okay. So Kansas City favorite by 3.5 of Dallas. We're taking the Cowboys. Next up, we have the night game. Cincinnati at the Ravens. Short and sweet. We know Joe Burrow's back. If you haven't heard, okay, but Lamar Chase isn't. All right, I know you still got Higgins on Cincinnati, but you're going against the Ravens. The Ravens here are 7-point favorites in Baltimore. All right, but that might change because, again, Joe Burrow just came back. It was just announced yesterday or in the afternoon, whatnot. But without Jamar Chase, it's like one hand clapping. Those guys are meant to be together. They played in college. They played in the NFL together, and when they're together, they're a dangerous combination. Now, you don't have no firepower now, even though Joe Burrow's back. I get it. The defense, there's nothing to see here. That's the old saying. There's nothing to see here because there isn't. Gave the Patriots a hard time last week. That's because the Patriots overlooked them until they got it right and won the game. All right, with that said, the Ravens, 7-point favorites at home, 6-5, won 5 in a row. But do not take this lightly. Lamar Jackson is not 100%. And if you watch the last couple of games, you could see he's hesitant to run. He slides. He runs out of bounds. That's not Lamar. I watched him the last couple of years because he's sensational. That's coming back. If you saw the interview he done this week with one of the sports channels, his confidence is back. I think you're going to see him running the ball a lot more. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs over 40 yards this week. But then again, you got the beast in the back, Derrick Henry. What are we sweating about? That guy can run over a truck. You got them. You got a pretty decent receiving core. Defense is starting to pick up on that winning attitude. They're coming together again. That's good to see because, when Lamar's hurt, defense, what's that? You understand what I'm saying? We all saw the games. I know the Jets gave him a hard time last week. Another team, Baltimore, that overlooked a team, 1-8, 1-9, and figured this will be a cakewalk. The Jets, I got news for you. They could be 1-90. They'll always give you a hard time. That's just the way they are. Okay? But being as it may, Ravens got together in the second half and started to roll. A couple of turnovers, gave the Jets some chances. I get it. The Ravens won 13 points, 12 points? Yeah. Lamar, you'll see him running more this time. You still got Derrick Henry. You still got a good receiver core, and the defense is starting to gel. Pick the Ravens. Ravens to cover 7 points. I got to move quicker now. Chicago at Eagles. Two teams that I've been knocking the last couple of weeks. I don't buy into the Kool-Aid that they're serving, but here they go. They're against each other, and I got to pick somebody. So here we go. Chicago 8-3, top of the division. Got to give them props. Eagles still hanging on to the first place. They'll probably win their division. 8-3. And plus the fact that, first of all, they're 7-point favorites over Chicago. That guy tells you a little something like that, a little bit, because the Eagles dropped the ball to the Cowboys last week. And they really fell asleep in the second half. That's becoming too humble and relying on not relying on each other. Let's put it that way. That's the simplest way to put it. But they go against Chicago, who Caleb Williams, man, dude, he's playing well. He's being coached well. But to me, it's almost like he's starting over in learning how to be a quarterback. Step back, plant your feet, set, throw the ball. Okay, so he's doing that too much. Everybody in the stadium knows where the hell he's going to throw the ball. I can definitely see it. And so he's gotten away with it with the teams that he's playing. And again, his defense is very good, especially when it comes to turnovers. They force a lot of turnovers. They take advantage. They're doing a good job, if that's what's keeping them in the game. How long is that going to last, though? But Caleb Williams is pretty telepathic. I mean, really. He sets his feet. It almost takes like a half. I've counted. I mean, it's like, all right, step back. That half a second. A defense like the Eagles, the better as they have, that kept them in a lot of games, close games, where the offense struggled, is very good. And they're going to pick up on that. And he's in for a long day. He's going to be running for his life. And I know they're going to use the big back, Montague back there, Montague, very good running back. But I don't see him getting much yards. And, of course, they're going to rely on DJ Moore, who's phenomenal. That's if he gets the time to throw the ball. Eagles lost last week. Mr. No Emotion, Jalen Hurt. I think he'll get the team right. I don't even get the coach credit. Like I said, I don't still believe in all that. But one thing I will tell you, the elephant in the room is Saquon Barkley. He is going to have a field day. And the reason I know, watching him over the years with the Giants, watching film, when he gets down on himself, he's like a new person. He becomes a monster. If you saw the post-game interview, he was down. You hear his voice. Hasn't had the year he had last year. That's because people don't watch tape and learn about what they do and what they don't. But trust me when I tell you, this is the kind of guy with the talent and skills that he has is overdue. Unfortunately, it'll be on the Chicago Bears. Look for Barkley to run over at least 100, 115 yards. So the Eagles are favored by 7. Chicago, you got to give them the props, 8-3. But here's where they run into a problem. And here's where they run into a really good team that's been to the playoffs a few times in the last few years. They're going to get a lesson taught to them this time. Eagles by 7. Next up, Buffalo at Pittsburgh. Real simple. Aaron Rodgers might not play. He may play. He still has a hurt left wrist. And if you've never played quarterback, you really don't understand. I had the privilege as a street quarterback. I guess we can count that somehow. I hope. When you lose your left hand, that's the same. That hand helps you hold the ball, stop you from falling on the ground. You know what I mean? You need it. No, you throw with his hand behind his back. I mean, what are we doing here? So you got the choice of Mason Rudolph. I think they're going to use Aaron Rodgers a few times, but look for him to probably come out of the game early. Buffalo, look, Josh Allen. Just let him go, man. Let him loose. I don't know what they're doing over there on the Buffalo Bills coaching staff. It's almost like they're trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to teach a dog new tricks, because that's not his personality. And I understand a little bit why, because they don't, other teams to pick up its habits, yada, yada. They get better defense. They figure it out. He's one of those guys, like Mahomes, like Lamar, you can't figure out. And let me tell you something. If you let this guy run the offense with a little help, that's what he takes, he's going to light you up like a Christmas tree. And mind you, Cook comes back this week. He didn't have a great start either. I think he was injured, and he just made it worse. Now he's coming back, and he's out for blood. Buffalo is 3.5-point favorites in this game over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's at home. We don't know who's quarterbacking. Allegedly Aaron Rodgers. The reason I've been picking Pittsburgh over the last few weeks is because Mike Tomlin. To me, he's one of the greatest coaches ever. So I have faith in him. And I'm not saying that Buffalo's going to blow them out early, but it's going to get ugly. If Josh Allen has his way, it's going to get ugly. The only reason Pittsburgh's going to stay in it, whether Mason's quarterbacks or Aaron Rodgers, Metcalf will keep them going. I hope you get the ball to 80. Washington, I love that guy. Is the Buffalo's defense is not that good. They're average, if that. They need confidence. And Josh Allen will do that this week. 3.5 points over Pittsburgh. And last game is the Giants at the Patriots. Patriots are favored by 7.5. Deservingly so. I believe they're on top of the whole conference, 9-2. Giants, not so good this year, except for their defense. Their defense is really up and coming. In fact, to me, they're ahead of schedule. They're going to be a force to reckon with next year. If those offensive players like Dart, Neighbors, and Schoolboom stay healthy next year, and they get 2 first-round draft picks, with that defense that's coming up, oh boy. Anyway, let's go to the Pats real quick. I understand Drake May's having a sensational year. To me, the key to that team is Stephon Diggs. He's playing great. He's playing like he used to play. He looks like he's settled down a little bit. Maybe he found a home. They got a really good defense. I think top 7 or 8 in the conference. But they're starting to collect injuries. And when that happens, when you play a 2-9 team or 3-8 or whatnot, the coach sometimes will sit the starters and bring the bench in to give them an extra week to heal. Okay? Now, the Patriots are in that position right now where, yeah, they're more likely to win the division. So now you want to rest some players somewhere in there. Look for that to happen. And I tell you about trap games in the past. Don't sleep on the Giants. First of all, their defense will hurt you. Okay? And their go-happy, fun offense with Jameis Winston back there, who I really love, and he's a real gunslinger. He's having fun. When he's loose and he's got no pressure on the back, he will tear you apart. I remember watching him throw 400 or 500 yards a game. There's problems with interceptions. I know he averages 3 games. But with that said, because we got to speed it up, Patriots, with the rotation defense, because of injuries, the offense, Drake May, Stephon Diggs, they're going to probably win the game. But it ain't going to be that easy. Jameson Winston, the crazy guy, and that young, up-and-coming defense of the Giants. So with that said, we're taking the Giants. All right, real quick, we got to go over what we picked. Green Bay against the Lions. I'm taking the Lions by 2.5. Kansas City 3.5 over the Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys. But Baltimore 7 over Cincinnati. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. Chicago at the Eagles. Eagles 7-point favorites. I'm running with the Eagles. Buffalo at Pittsburgh. Buffalo 3.5-point favorites. I'm taking Buffalo. And then Patriots. Giants at the Patriots. Patriots 7.5-point favorites. I'm taking the G-Men. With that said, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Remember the unfortunate ones. Be thankful. And don't forget to feed the cat. I'll see you next week.